The call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Pod at the Palace post-game report card presented by SARACEN, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson, here to grade out Arkansas's 80-71 loss to Duke Thanksgiving night in Chicago. Happy belated Thanksgiving, by the way, folks. Hope everyone enjoyed and spent some time with your loved ones, traveled safely. Certainly appreciate everybody who hung out with us on the post-game show late Thursday evening. So here we are. Anybody stress eat or depress eat because of this game? I did. Did I need that extra slice of pecan pie just now? No, of course not. Did I turtle walk my fat butt into the kitchen and sneak it after everyone went to sleep anyway? Yes. Yes, I did. I'm mad and it makes me feel better. Now I have a stomach ache. Is it because of the pecan pie or because Arkansas lost another close game in a big spot like this? We just can't escape it. Arkansas played well, though. They really did. I think the Razorbacks showed some real signs of progress, like certain guys, and I think on both ends of the floor. And that's encouraging. I still feel really, really good about what this team can be. I think based on what I've seen, most people nationally do as well. I think a lot of people walked away from that one thinking more highly of Arkansas than they did after that Michigan State game. But they're not where they need to be right now, especially with the schedule that they're facing. You got to start getting some of these wins here to show it, to validate it. Eye test wise, yeah, for a lot of this game against Duke, they looked the part, certainly. But you got to start winning some of these, especially when Auburn and Tennessee and Texas, many of your other peers started to get some of those resume notches under the belt, this week. That's what Feast Week is good for. And Arkansas will get them. They just haven't yet. So brace yourselves. You will probably fall out of the top 25 on Monday. Who cares? Your net ranking when it drops on December 1st is not going to be where you want it to be. Who cares? A lot of opportunities ahead. Arkansas is plenty capable. They're just not consistent enough right now to win a game like Thursday night. But you could see the signs against Duke. Arkansas looked more connected than it has been. They cleaned up a few things. They're getting closer. They are. I don't know how much better that makes you feel because the end result's still the same. Arkansas always almost wins. That's the mantra. I get it. But I thought there were stretches in both halves where they looked like they were ready to run away with this game. But then it would take Duke about 90 seconds to just completely flip momentum. Remember when they went from tied to up 10 in the blink of an eye? It happened quick. And then, late in the game, same situation there. Just every time Arkansas would get a little separation and you felt like they were primed to really get control of the basketball game, Duke would hit them with something. And I think Arkansas is still in that phase right now where one thing doesn't go your way and it snowballs on you too much before you settle down. Because they responded to adversity. I mean, they got down, 13 in the first half and came roaring back. And, more so than they have. So again, it's signs of progress, but stopping those runs before they become big ones, it's something this team's got to work on, and they'll fix that. A lot of teams had that issue in November. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't do anything with Cam Boozer or his elbows. Couldn't really make the plays or get the stops in winning time. I think that's the next step in the evolution for Arkansas. I would hope that's something that they fix too. I imagine it will be. But they lost the game. They did. So Razorbacks are 0-2 in big games this season. There are 3 opportunities remaining in non-conference play next week against Louisville, the weekend after that against Texas Tech, and then the weekend after that against Houston. I think Arkansas needs to get 2 of those to feel really good about what you've done in your non-conference. You put the schedule together for a reason. You got to take advantage of it to a degree, and we'll see if they're able to do that. But we'll grade this one out here today, and then we'll move on from it. Isn't insurance a hassle? It really is. I don't like messing with it. I don't like trying to figure it out. I don't like comparing rates. I don't even know what I'm doing. That's why I use and recommend OZK Insurance. They're based right here in Arkansas, and they shop multiple carriers to find the best coverage for you, whether it's home, auto, business, you name it, they've got you covered. With over 600 5-star Google reviews, you can count on OZK Insurance. Get yourself a free online quote today at ozkinsurance.com or call 479-715-4200. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. Okay, let's start. We'll do the team grades first, like we always do, and we'll start on the offensive side of the ball for Arkansas. You know, one thing to keep in mind here, Duke is a top 5 team in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency, and I was really impressed with them. You want to see a team that knows how to cover ball screens? Watch Duke. They were nasty with it. You want to see a team that, has tremendous perimeter defense? Watch Duke. It's really good. They've got legit rim protection, positional size all over the place, length. They've got some athleticism. It's a really good team and really good defensively. So with that in mind, I'm kind of stuck between like a C plus B minus for Arkansas. Offensively, they weren't great, but you also have to understand relative to the competition, I guess. You could look at the raw numbers and I'd probably walk away feeling pretty meh about it. At the end of the day, Arkansas just shot a tick over 40% from the field. That's not good enough. 33.3% from 3. You'd like to be a little bit higher than that. Not horrible. They made 10 of them. Did they shoot too many? The Razorbacks only get to the free throw line 11 times, but how much of that was in Arkansas's control? Do you feel like they should have shot 20 or more? I do, but they didn't. It's like JD Note said, though, when you play a team like Duke, you're not going to be getting the calls. You're just not. So Arkansas, I'm sure that it was said to them, hey, don't expect it in this game. You got to play through it. You're going to be physical. You're going to get bumped. You're going to get hit, and you're not going to like it in terms of the whistle. 17 assists, good number. We said that this morning or yesterday morning in the preview. It's a good number for Arkansas, right at their average. 12 turnovers isn't bad, but man, a number of them just absolutely killer ones in key moments. And it was mixed in with the stuff that makes you want to rip your own head off your shoulders and throw it out the window, like stepping out of bounds 3 times as if you've never been on a basketball court for your entire life. What are we doing? I've never seen a team that steps on the baseline or the sideline for no reason so often. Is Bud Walton Arena a wider or longer court? Is the practice or the dimensions different? I don't get it. And don't say to me, well, but the NBA 3-point line was out there on that floor. It doesn't matter. Have some spatial awareness out there. It's crazy. It blew me away that John Calipari in his press conference had to say, yeah, we talk about that all the time. Why? Making millions of dollars to play college basketball, and you have to sit them down and have a conversation about not stepping out of bounds? Know where your feet are? What are we doing? That's crazy. Whatever. Duke, I would say, did what I anticipated they would for a couple stretches, and they really grinded Arkansas and made them work to even get off a contested shot. But I will say there were other stretches where I thought the Hogs really got into some good actions, good ball movement. They had, Duke scrambling and in rotations with ball reversals, and they got some solid looks in there. They did some good things. I think ultimately, though, I'm going to go with that C+, just because, Malik Thomas hit that crazy 3, and this is a 1-point game with 3 minutes to go, and Arkansas missed its last 5 shots with some very empty possessions that kind of reverted back to ISO, my turn hero basketball. And like I said a minute ago, I feel like the next step in the evolution for Arkansas here as a team is you got to be able to execute better than that in winning time, which, yes, is end of game, but it's also when you get up 7 and you have a chance to really drag a team into deep waters, do that instead of immediately allowing a 10-0 run over the course of like 60 seconds. Right? So steps in the right direction. Thought Acuff looked a lot better today. There's some encouraging things. We'll get into the player grades, but not horrible by any means. Defensively, again, like I don't think Arkansas played poorly in this game. It looked a lot better than it has literally all season. I'll give them that. Still work to be done defending ball screens and pick and rolls, although I thought they made some adjustments at times throughout the game that really benefited them, and then it just kind of went by the wayside late. Some of that might have been fatigue related. But they were, yeah, I mean, like think about the beginning stretch of the game and honestly the opening stretch of the second half. I thought Arkansas did a great job of being able to disrupt a lot of what Duke was trying to do. And that's a really good offense. And they run their stuff and they're talented. They're super efficient. And Arkansas had them rattled for long stretches there. Turning them over, frustrating them, speeding them up. I got to tell you, I was starting to wonder a little bit about this team defensively. Not perfect by any means, obviously. And we'll talk about one particular area here in a minute, but I walked away thinking, yeah, this could still be a pretty damn good defensive team. Didn't let them go crazy from three. Duke was just 8 of 23 out there, so you made 2 more threes than they did. That's good. Held them under their average in makes and percentage by a decent amount. Held them under their average on the offensive glass. Nice. You give up 19 offensive rebounds to Michigan State, only 12 to Duke. That's not a bad number. You can live with that. Trust me, promise you, you can live with that against Duke. The problem was, it's crazy to me that they turned 12 offensive rebounds into 25 second chance points. Think about the math there. That means Duke pretty much scored after every single offensive rebound they got. That is problematic. Held them almost 10 below their average free throw attempts, which is good. Arkansas gave them nothing in transition, really locked that down. At the end of the day, on that end of the floor, Duke had Cam Boozer and Arkansas had nothing for him. And that was the matchup we were most worried about going into the game, obviously. But, I mean, good Lord, you got to offer up some resistance. The dude went for 35 and 9 on 13 of 18 shooting, and he had as many free throw attempts by himself as Arkansas did as an entire team. Here's the scary part about it. Arkansas held the man scoreless for the first 10 minutes of the game, and he still finished with 35. He was averaging over a point per minute for the final 30 minutes of that basketball game. It's just a brutal matchup. He's good. He's really good. Super versatile. He's huge, skilled, strong. That dude, he was a pick and roll ball handler and a pick and roll screener on the same possession. I don't remember who was guarding him there, if it was Trevin or Pringle or who it was, but how do you defend that? How frustrating must that be? I'm pretty sure it was Pringle, actually, who was guarding him there. I mean, good grief. He finishes through everything. He made a couple threes out there. Cam Boozer's, he's nasty with it. And I thought Pringle and TB and Ewan all had some moments where they did a nice job, and then others where they got cooked. So I don't know why Cal put Carter Knox on him for any reason whatsoever for a possession period. But he did for a little bit there. I was a little bit surprised that they didn't double more than they did. Now, I know we said in the pregame, you got to be careful about that because he's such a good passer and he finds the open man. He can spray it to shooters and all that. But I don't know. I thought they could have been more creative there. Cam Boozer doesn't need any help, though, to be one of the best players in the country. He already is. But when you give him the superstar treatment, like he got tonight, I mean, there's nothing you can do with him. If I had time, I would go back and cut up every possession of film, and I know without a shadow of a doubt, there's zero doubt in my mind that I could find a dozen offensive fouls that should have been called against Cam Boozer. And I'm not saying Arkansas lost because of the refs, and I'm not throwing a pity party about it. Gave Duke a lot of credit, and we're going to talk plenty about, Arkansas's shortcomings in this basketball game, but it did impact the game. You can't tell me that it didn't. And it wasn't just Arkansas fans bitching about it. Just go look. It's social media and, national guys, people from other fan bases, people who are in our post game for other fan bases. Like, what the heck was that? It was crazy. And you don't have to call every single one of them, but you can't not call one. Just blatant hooks over and over and over on the block. Poor Nick Pringle is going to be all bruised up from that. Fully extended forearms and elbows every time he put it on the floor to give himself separation. Very clear. Countless times he would stick that leg out and dead leg a guy when he's setting the pick and roll. He didn't pick up his first foul until under 6 minutes left in the game. Not one. And then they give him that Drew Timmy treatment where he catches on the block and he gets to switch pivot feed as often as he wants to, hang out in the lane as long as he wants to. I mean, when you swallow your whistle with a guy like that who's already so skilled and so talented, that's how you get 35 and 9. He probably would have found a way to get it anyhow, but not to make it easy on him. So I'm left with no choice here, I've got to both acknowledge that, Trevin had nothing for Cam's physicality, yet Pringle struggled with his versatility, and, Malik Ewan is Malik Ewan, while also very clearly noting that the dude got away with a bunch of crap that he shouldn't have, and it impacted the game. So I take that into account with the defensive grade here. Also, one thing I didn't really understand, why the hell was Arkansas so content playing behind him? Like, it's tough when he's in DHOs and ball screens and when he's driving it and you can't really do anything with him. They don't even like to call charges anymore. And if they're not calling the push off with the forearm, what exactly is it that you do? But behind the block, just playing behind him, allowing post entries, putting yourself in barbecue chicken alert over and over and over and over again. I don't understand. Why there wasn't more of an effort to deny, or why they weren't doubling down more than that. I mean, if he hits a post up on the block and it's one-on-one, he's going to score, especially when he's allowed to do the things that he was allowed to do. So it surprised me that there wasn't more adjustment there. I guess you were just really worried about him spraying it, or you getting in scramble mode or whatever. But I mean, good grief. Whatever. The rest of the defense I thought was good. B- for the defense for Arkansas. Like, if you just contain him a little bit better, or if they called a couple of those offensive fouls, this game could have been quite a bit different for the Razorbacks, but it wasn't. I will say, not many teams have a Cam Boozer that are on the schedule moving forward. So hopefully other things that look quite a bit improved can continue to shine. So I'll also add before we move on, like, I'm really not that upset, but there are certain things that are irking me the more I think about it. John Calipari did a disservice, I feel like, to himself and to this team by not adding another competent power forward to this roster. Like, what are we doing here? I just don't understand. You watched a dude Thero walk and replaced one of the most versatile players in the country with Kareem Rattel. It was absurd at the time, and it still is now. I mean, there's plenty of options. You have plenty of money, the portal, international ranks, whatever, but made the conscious decision not to do it, and it's put Arkansas in a bind multiple times already this season. So hindsight's 2020 or whatever. I know we talked about it a lot in the moment, throughout the course of the offseason, but I mean, could Arkansas have used another 4 in this game? Somebody that's a little bit different that can complement TB, instead of being in the conundrum of, if we play small with Carter in a matchup like this, we're screwed and we can't play both of our bigs at the same time. Like, I don't know. Doesn't make any sense to me. Whatever. Is your marriage on the rocks after spending your Thanksgiving watching Arkansas lose instead of watching the Christmas Story with your in-laws? If so, you should give our partners at Hickey and Hull Law a call and let them provide you with persistent and diligent representation to help guide you through the entire process. They've handled thousands of family law cases and have experienced nearly every scenario that comes up. They take care of you. They understand it's crucial to their clients that they keep them updated on the cases and that they're available to provide advice and counsel throughout the process. They'll take time to meet with you. They respond to emails. They always return your calls. Not everybody does that, and it feels like it should just be a common courtesy, right? Hickey and Hull Law have offices across the state of Arkansas in Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Mena. You can call them today at 479-434-2414, or you can check out their website, hickeyandhull.com, or scan that QR code right there on your screen. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. Okay. Yeah, and so, I don't want to come across as too, mad or overly reactionary or whatever. And I think we're stating a pretty good case. Like, Arkansas played a really good team. Arkansas played well. Still got a ways to go here, early in the season and everything, but the roster thing it pisses me off, man. I just we knew that this was going to be an issue at some point in both of your big games. It has been. You had the foul trouble issues against Michigan State, and you're just severely undersized against a team like that. And then you can't replace an Adu Thero, but you can make up for his skill set between Trevin and whoever you could have got to back him up there at the 4. You know what I mean? Somebody 6'8", 6'9", more meat on their bones, more of a physical player, physical rebounder, somebody who can be a little bit more versatile defensively, and you just didn't. And I don't know. I think it's crazy. Okay, player grades to wrap us up here. A reminder, I'm not comparing player A to player B when I do these because different players have different matchups and different expectations based on the game. So these are much more individually based when we do these. Darius Acuff, I thought was Arkansas's best player in this game. He caught some attention nationally from a lot of folks. I saw some good words put out there from him. I give him an A in this game. I thought Acuff was good. 21 points. He was 8 of 17 from the field, knocked down 4 threes, had 5 assists in this game. And did he turn it over? 1 turnover. Had a steal. He made some big shots for Arkansas. And when they were rolling, he was rolling. I thought he looked really good, knocking down those 3 balls, eyeing guys up, started to finish more physical. He didn't start that great. I think he missed his first 3-4 shots maybe, and then he got a 3 to fall, and he really started to get it going there. But, boy, he looked the part. He was really good, and he did some better things on the defensive end of the floor too, just working harder, fighting through some of those ball screens, recovering, holding his ground. I was pretty impressed with Acuff in this game, so good on him. Made some big shots for Arkansas. He's going to win them some games this year. And that was good to see because, the last 2 outings for the Razorbacks, he's looked a little, not bad, but he kind of seemed like he was trying to find himself again. I know he's working on doing some of the things that Cal's preaching to him about, sharing it and getting teammates involved. And you need to have a bunch of assists and prove that you can be a lead guard in the NBA. And that's all true, but I felt like he did a good job of just balancing everything, playing, rising up to the occasion in the moments, and he played well. And Duke's got some good perimeter defenders. They were blitzing ball screens on him, and he did a good job of not panicking and turning it over in those situations. So kudos to Acuff. I thought he played well. 37 minutes, too. And he didn't have a bunch of those takeoff possessions where he was just kind of coasting defensively and losing focus or not giving full effort. Some of those things Cal was like, hey, let me sub you out for a minute. None of that. I thought he played really well. Trevin Brazil. See, I hate this. These games suck when you have to consider some different things. I'm going to give TB a B-. I mean, he did so many things really well. He had a double-double for Arkansas in this game. I mean, I'm looking at the stats right now. 11 points, 11 boards. Like we've been begging for, somebody in the front court to rebound, and quietly Trevin's averaging like 8 a game over here. 3 offensive boards. He had that sick tip slam. 8 defensive rebounds, which were huge. He hit 2 threes. Good to see. 3 or 4 from the free throw line again. I mean, when he played 34 minutes, I thought Trevin did well. And he's being asked to do a ton for Arkansas right now, and especially in this game. I thought he was absolutely battling off against a great player, while his coach refused to send him any help in the paint. I don't know. He doesn't have another power forward next to him that's capable of taking his warm-ups off. So all things considered, I'm pretty pleased with how Trevin played. Now, back to basket post defense against Boozer. He doesn't have a chance. We can talk all day about, well, is he physical enough? Is he tough enough? Trevin Brazil shouldn't have to guard a guy like that in the post without help. That's crazy. You remember when Eric Musselman was the coach, and there were some of those games where, like against Kentucky, against Oscar Tshiebwe, it was just like, hey, we're just going to, if this guy's going to eat, he's going to eat. We're not going to let anybody else get off. So Jay Will, Oscar Tshiebwe is yours. We're not sending any help. Figure it out. Colin Castleton, he's yours. You're not sending any help. Figure it out. Walker Kessler, he's yours. They kept doing that to Jay Will. and then people would be like, "Oh man, he sucked defensively." But it's if you give a really any post player one-on-ones with no help at all, that's they've got an advantage there. The offense does. So, and then you take one as talented as Boozer. I mean, what are you going to do? But I thought Trevin did a good job with him on the perimeter. I thought he did a good job of getting him frustrated multiple times. His length bothered him at times, but it was when he was allowed, to get real physical and he's getting away with some of those elbows and stuff. Trevin didn't have too much for him there, and he wasn't able to use his length to alter and block those shots like he has been against some other guys. So we'll ding him a little bit for that, but otherwise, I thought TB played well for Arkansas, continues to play well for Arkansas, and he did it in a big game, in a big spot, in a big moment. And he was the only one in this entire 40-minute basketball game that made Cam Boozer defend like at all. So kudos to him for that. Carter Knox, F. He did nothing in this game. So I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Arkansas's played 2 big games, had 2 big opportunities, Michigan State and Duke, and Carter's no-showed in both of those. 2 points in this basketball game. He hit that jumper to open the second half, and that was it. That's all we saw from him in this game. 1 of 4 from the field, missed a couple threes. I thought he had a couple good looks. Maybe he rushed them a little bit there in the first half, but 2 rebounds. I thought the length of Dame Sarr and Kamenia, their 2 wings, kind of bothered him a little bit. Did the thing again where he caught and tried to drive baseline with a guy standing on the baseline. He, stepped out of bounds and turned it over. It wasn't fair, the possessions that he was tasked with guarding Cam Boozer. They lobbed right over the top of him for one play. What is he supposed to do about that? Like, I don't put that on him. Straight line drove it on him, and he got got called for a foul. I don't know what else he's supposed to do. So those I don't blame him for, but wash, rinse, repeat with Mr. Knox. Like, you're playing in a spot like this, and he's a returner for you that you have high expectations for. You need him to be good for you, and he gives you 22 minutes and 2 points, a couple boards, and didn't really have an impact on the game. So DJ Wagner wasn't his best game either, and he didn't play that much, but I'll at least give him a C- or something, because at least he had some moments defensively, and he looked aggressive when he got the ball in his hands early. He got middle with his left hand and finished that and one. I did think he was impactful defensively and help too. Like, sometimes he's always really tenacious on the ball, but he was sprinting to position, and in doing so, he was able to intercept some passes in there and get some deflections. So that was good. He had at least 2 assists, I remember, where I was like, man, that's a really good pass. So he did some good things, but at the end of the day, you look up, and again, these guys have to be more reliable and more consistent. Knox and DJ both 3 points, 1 of 5 from the field, missed 3 threes, and he winds up not playing much. 16 minutes in this basketball game. Cal talked about it afterwards, like, hey, there'll be games where other guys play more or whatever, but Acuff was cooking, and he wasn't bringing too much to the table there. 16 minutes, is that a career low for DJ? It might be. Does there come a point in time where you consider actually bringing him off the bench like we talked about? I still wouldn't go there yet, because I agree with what Cal said before the game. I kind of have that steadying force to start the games. But you got to get more out of him than that. It's crazy. If you look at this, Arkansas loses by 9. That's a little bit misleading. I mean, it was, again, it was a 1-point game with 3 minutes left. So, but you look up at the end, and this isn't the end all be all, but your 2 worst players plus minus were Carter Knox minus 16 in 22 minutes and DJ Wagner minus 11 in 16 minutes. So there's that. Nick Pringle, I'll give him a C- also. Statistically provided very little value for the Razorbacks. He did have a really tough and one, kind of in a big moment which was a cool play to see. But yeah, he finished with just 3 points, 1 of 3 from the field. He had 1 rebound in this basketball game. 0 defensive rebounds from your starting center in 19 minutes. That's just. And I know he was tasked with Boozer the entire game, and that's your primary responsibility. But you can't be a starting 5-man for a really good team and not grab a defensive rebound. Like all the things that we've been yelling at Malik Ewan about all season, and then you get that from Pringle here. So rough stuff. A couple assists, turnover. I don't remember that one, but yeah, I mean, you could look at it. I thought early, he started the game on Boozer, and that was when Boozer wasn't getting anything done. Remember, he didn't score the first 10 minutes. I thought Pringle did a really good job on him. Then you could tell the emphasis was, okay, we need to match this dude's physicality and be physical with him. And I thought Pringle did a really good job of that early and in stretches in the second half too. But again, I don't know how much I can blame Nick for just getting the hell beat out of him. Nick Pringle fouled out for existing in this game. How many of his fouls were legit? Because I can think of at least 3 of them where it's mano a mano in the post, and he walls up, he doesn't move, and Boozer just sidesteps around him, hooks him, and puts an elbow right into his ribs, and it gets whistled on Pringle, and he's just standing there. And it's not, he leaned into it, or his hands move forward, or whatever you could argue. He's just standing there. And a couple times he doubled over and fell to the ground in pain because of it's a 6'9", 250-pound man. I mean, how mad can we really be at Pringle for that? He didn't do anything else. Again, you got to rebound it, man. But I can't knock him too much for Boozer having success on him when he was allowed to do the things he was allowed to do. So when you look at the line or whatever, it might scream F or D- or whatever, but I'll grade him a little bit higher than that because some of that stuff is just out of his control. Malik Thomas, let's go C+ for Leak. I thought he was better than a C+ in the second half, but he didn't do much in the first half. I think he missed his first 4 or 5 shots. It took him a while to settle into the game. He was a lot better after that, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit too inefficient. I mean, 5 of 15 from the floor. You got to be better than that. 3 of 10 from 3. Again, I don't mind Leak taking all those shots. I felt like he missed some that he would normally make, and he made some big ones. If you're going to make that crazy one that he did to cut it to 1 at the 3-minute mark, you got to make some of the wide open ones too. But he was okay. Nothing burger in the second half. 13 points. Only 1 rebound. He's usually a little bit better on the boards. Couple assists. He didn't turn it over. He had a couple steals. So yeah, he was all right. You just got to make some shots, man. Especially when that's your role. I mean, you were brought here to take shots and make them. So 33% from the field overall is probably not going to cut it. I was surprised he didn't get to the line at all either. And he probably should have. I remember at least one, I think his first bucket actually, when he got the lid off there, I was yelling and one at my TV and he didn't get the whistle. But that's it for Leak. I thought he did some good things in there, but if you're going to take 15 shots, you got to make more than 5. Malik Ewan, I mean, based on how he's looked the majority of the season, I'll give him a B-. Maybe. I thought he had some really nice moments. Ewan did. You got 20 minutes out of him, which I think is very notable, because if he was doing some of the stuff that he's done in other games, he would be playing 7 minutes again, like he did at Michigan State or whatever. And he was an asset. I thought, he played well enough to warrant staying out there for Arkansas. I think he's trending in the right direction. It's not like he killed it. I mean, he had 7 points, 3 rebounds, but I think he's trending in the right direction. That's good to see. A few things. He had a really tough and one. I love this because I could tell he got angry because Malik Brown fouled him. Just very clearly fouled him. And instead of pouting about it, he got pissed and got physical with him and then finished an and one on him. And that was cool. That was good to see. I remember Billy dropping one off to him, and he had a pretty powerful dunk in there. He had another dunk at one point. So he did some good stuff. I love seeing him enjoying playing basketball. I love seeing the enthusiasm from him, and he's, yelling and flexing, and then Arkansas gets beat down the floor. It's like, okay, do that while you sprint back in transition, my guy. But I thought he had actually a number of good defensive possessions on Boozer. I know it sounds crazy, but go back and watch. He actually did a decent job on him. I was a little bit irritated by that one where Boozer wound up going coast to coast and getting the dunk. It was weird, though, because, Ewan was kind of on his hip the whole way down the floor, and you had both of your freshman guards. And I think it was like a miscommunication thing, because Ewan was in no man's land. Like, okay, do I try to recover and get in front of him here, or one of these guys is going to step up, and then do I have to take his man? And he just winds up going all the way to the rim and dunking it. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? So you can't have that. But like the lack of effort stuff, or just standing and watching, didn't see much of that at all. And we know he would have got yanked if he did it. So encouraged by Malik Ewan. He still got very clearly another gear that he could kick it to. And he was also 3 of 7 from the floor. He's missing some shots around the rim that he just made last year, and he made them against good competition. So continue to work on his confidence, being a little bit stronger with it in there. I think he's only going to continue to improve. So it was a notable, I thought, performance from Malik Ewan. Billy Richmond, I'm going to give a C+, and I hate it because I thought he impacted things in a lot of positive ways for Arkansas. I really did. But I can't give you higher than a C when you cough it up 5 times. It's, got to reel it in a little bit. I mean, he made so many incredible plays. He had that steal and dunk early. He knocked down another 3. He was getting some stuff done on the defensive end of the floor, flying around. What did he finish with? 11 points, 5 rebounds, couple assists. 2 blocks and a steal. And they were just raving about him throughout the course of the broadcast, and rightfully so. He did some really good things. He had that, and he was one who had the beautiful pass to Malik Ewan on a basket cut that he dunked it. Everything about Billy's performance made me think they just maybe go back to putting him in the starting lineup and tell Carter to figure it out. He's looking great here. And there's a reason why Billy wound up playing quite a few more minutes. But at the end of the day, you can't turn it over 5 times, man. And some of them were very, very costly. There was one there late where it's just like, what in the world are you doing? He has those from time to time. Remember some of those games last year where he would do all the little things. He's diving for loose balls. He's setting the tone with his effort and the hustle plays and the toughness, but he's so careless, and he gets too sped up, and he reverted back to that. He was responsible for almost 50% of Arkansas's turnovers. So, I mean, come on, man. Reel it in a little bit. And so I guess that's it. Yeah, Sealy didn't get into this game. Probably wasn't a great one to put him in, to be honest with you. But, there we are. Arkansas is, they're 5-2 now. No notable wins yet. And 2 close losses, to good teams. So, like I said, Arkansas, they won't be in the AP poll on Monday, and our, the net ranking's not going to be where you want it to be. But I think, I know I said in the pregame, like, I'm not into moral victories. I don't want the close but no cigar nonsense. Like, go out here and take advantage of one of these spots and win a damn game. And because they didn't do that, I'm frustrated. I am. But I'm going to be over it tomorrow, because I do think that they actually took a step in the right direction against a really good team, and I'm confident they're going to continue to improve. So, huge one against Louisville, though. It's, you want to win both of these games in this back-to-back, and you'd have been the talk of the country if you did. But at the bare minimum, you want to get out of there with a split, and especially after you have a strong showing against Duke. If you follow it up by Louisville coming to your house and you take care of business and get that win over them, then you're feeling pretty good about where this thing is headed. The needle's pointing back up. You're trending in the right direction. The stocks are there. But if you lose it, the conversations start to get a little bit more uncomfortable. Will it be the end of the world? No, but You scheduled these 5 brutal non-conference games for a reason. Your strength of schedule is going to be through the roof, and none of that matters if you don't win any of the games. And they're 0-2 so far, so let's see what they do with the rest of them. But, all right, appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. I'm going to get out of here for the weekend, really. I mean, stay tuned to the Inside Arkansas Football post-game show. If that's your thing, I'm sure we're going to be talking about, breaking news on the coaching front at some point this weekend. And then we'll get back at it on Monday and turn the page to Louisville. But it's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on the PATP Palace. Subscribe where you need to subscribe. Follow where you need to follow. Appreciate everybody. Shout out to the Coffee Club. I don't know if I said that at the beginning of the show, so I'll say it at the end. You have a good day. We'll see you next time.